Okay, this video is about fading in, so I'm going to talk about how to fade in using code. Before I did a previous video on fade in using images, but in this situation you want to use code if you want to basically have less space on your mobile device. So, because if you use images, it takes up more space. So by using code, it takes up less space. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, and then I will go into detail. So it starts to fade in from black, and it fades into the actual game. And then when you die, it goes to red, and then it fades out. And this screen would be the second room, and this is where you would say game over or whatever. So room 0 is the first room. And the second room is room 1, and this is the end game. So the only thing you really need here is 2 blocks. First one, you can make this block any color you want, but I just made it black. And the size, the width and the height is at 32. This is the first fade when it goes from black to fade into the actual first room. So all you need is go into Add Event, do the create, grab a coded sheet from the Code tab, and you're going to state fade in equals true, alpha equals 2, then alarm 0 equals room speed at 2 milliseconds here. So the alpha here is at 2. If you want the fade in to happen quicker, you would put in 1. So if I put in 1 here and then play it, yeah, it fades in quicker. So if you want it to go slower, you would just change this alpha to 3, 4, 5, or 2. Leave everything else alone. Then grab a alarm 0 from that event, then coded sheet, and this will do the same. This says if fade in equals true, then alpha Pac-Man 0. So this is basically pretty much stating that it's basically fading out. This part right here is saying that it's fading out and into the scene, the first room. And then alpha 0, then alarm 1 happens, and it's just completing the fade in portion right here. And then you have a draw event, and this talks about the color. So the color I want happen, I want it to be black first. The screen's going to be black, so I have it C_black, and then the draw set alpha. This is basically talking about it's fading away. Change the black to transparent to the room itself. And then you have the draw rectangular. Basically, this is basically stretching. This is stretching the blackness out onto the screen, so then it'll fade into 0, which is transparency, to the scene. So this is basically just stretching the screen out. So this information is needed, so it scales out the rectangle to the correct size on the screen. So the rectangle is going to be black at first, then it's going to fade away to revealing the first room, and then you have the draw set alpha to 1. That's needed as well, so it changes the black to transparency. Then the depth of it, I just made up a huge random number because you want this on top of everything else in the background, so I just made it minus 12 1215. You can make this 99999 all across the board, because you want all this to be on top of everything else. You don't want that in the background and you want the characters in front. No, you want this up front against everything else. Make it visible, and then you have then that's in the first room, so you place that square in the first room. In the second room, which is the end game one, when you end the game, you're going to have the red square, which is the when you die, it's going to fade from red to transparency. So it's going to be red first, and then it's going to transparent, and it's going to reveal the second room, which is game over. And that code's the same as the fade in. The only thing you're changing here is the color. The color is going to be sea red for blood, of course, or you can make it any other color you want. You can go into the colors here. You can go C underscore, and then you have a choice here. You can choose any of these colors here that GameMaker throws up in its code base. Got orange, Oliver, navy blue, maroon, lime green, gray. So you can do any of those colors there. I got yellow, white. The list goes on here. So you like 15 choices to choose from. I just chose red because that's the the game over color for me anyways. You can do the same thing for the fade in as well. When you first show the first room, change it to beside. If you don't want black, you can change it to something else. So this is how you do a fade in using code, using for studios, because for some reason GameMaker Studios, they took out those fade in and swipes from GameMaker 8.1. GameMaker 8.1 had everything pretty much, and then when Studios came around, they took out some of that stuff, I guess because it didn't work on some of the devices, so they just completely took it out. So I researched it online and found a code that you could use to fade in when you first start the room, and then when you die, you have another fade. When you pretty much it'll fade into the second room where it says game over. So thanks for watching.